It's Julia Renee.
And Kendall Aaliyah. Welcome back to the Know Your Power podcast. What's up, guys?
Welcome.
Julia seems a little unwell today.
I'm hanging on.
You know
by a
how I
thread.
know? You don't have lashes on.
Yeah.
That's when I know
Yeah.
that Julia's going through
Well,
it.
this morning I knew because there's rare times that my clients will book calls before the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And we had 3 back to back to back
And it's
before
10
the
a.m.,
podcast.
so that's nuts.
Yeah. And this morning I woke up at 3 a.m.
You're crazy.
It's not my choice. It's not by choice.
Is your body just
I can't
waking
sleep.
you? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I just can't.
Last night,
sleep
because
anymore.
the video will be out before this comes out, but I'm doing my old prep program for a week just
you
for
sleeping?
fun. Not at all. I think like my body is just so not used to this much cardio where like I'm exhausted all day and then I'll lay down at like midnight wide awake and then I'm up until like 2 or 3 and then I want to wake up early for fasted cardio. So I think I went to sleep last night at like 1:30 in the morning, got up at 5:30 for cardio. And I was like, yep, this is Julia's lifestyle.
Yeah, like I've been going to bed at 9:30. Like
Yeah.
I am tired when I go to bed. 9:30 to 10:30, 11:30, 12:30 to 1:30, 2:30.
The math.
5.5 hours to
Yeah.
6 hours. Like sometimes
Not great.
I have my alarm typically set at 4 a.m. Like I won't sleep past 4 a.m. because I need to make sure I have enough time to do all the things I want to do. But lately it's like the day before my body woke me up at 3:30
Yeah.
and I'm waking up at midnight. So I'll go to sleep at 9:30 p.m. and I wake up at midnight and I think in my head, I'm like, it's time to get up for cardio already. It's not.
It's crazy.
And I'm like, I checked my phone last night in the middle of the night 3 separate times because I kept waking up
Yeah.
and thinking it's time to go to cardio and it wasn't.
Yeah. I think you're
wasn't.
just so ingrained in your routine that it's
Yeah.
like, it must be time.
Yeah. And it's
Your body knows.
this morning I was just like, I can't wait to just have a normal like sleep schedule.
Yeah.
I could sleep. Like whenever Zach and I have this joke of once a month, I have like a 14-hour sleep. It's not even a joke. It's real
Yeah.
because
As you should.
I do. Like I go so hard for a certain amount of time and then my body's like, okay, yeah, you're done. And I
Yeah.
sleep 14 hours and then I wake up and I'm like, okay.
Well, I saw you've been napping now, and I feel like you used to not be a nap girl. So
I like lay down, but I can't physically fall asleep.
like
So
your
it's like
body's
my
asleep.
body is resting, but I'm not on my phone and it's been helping a lot. And I've been doing it almost every day at around 12:30, anywhere between 12:30 and 1:30.
So after this pod, you're going to go have
No,
a
I have a
body
massage,
sleep.
which is
good.
better.
Even better.
'Cause
Sleep
my-
during that.
Can't. I'll try, but
Your quads look insane, dude.
I guess.
That's crazy because I feel
Did
like
you see yesterday on my story I had quad veins? Bro,
I've never been that lean.
never in my life.
Are you going to get another body scan done before your next show?
I'm trying to decide if I want to.
I feel like it can mess with you mentally.
That's what I was thinking.
Send me the results.
You
Just
know
get 'em
me.
done
I
and
can't
ship
not.
'em
I
to
can't
me.
not look.
That's fair.
Every time that I film a DEXA, I think I'm gonna do it because it does well on YouTube every time.
Yeah.
Like I did my
Well, I'm
thumbnail
just
was I'm
curious.
single digit body fat
Yeah.
and it did so well because I've never ever been that way before.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what I thought. I was like, okay, but if it doesn't change, am I gonna be upset?
Yeah.
And I was like, but that's an opportunity for me to not be upset because I'm looking at my body in the mirror. And I didn't think I was going to be able to change my physique in such a short amount of time from the last show. But it's changing still.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm literally every day like, body, how are you doing this?
Body, what are you doing?
Body, you are body yaddying and I don't know.
And you said your
how.
cardio is slightly less
Yeah.
now, and I feel like your body's probably enjoying that. And like,
Yes.
isn't it funny how sometimes when you like give your body what it wants, it like gives you the results you're
it's like,
looking
okay,
for?
here you go.
Thank you so much.
It's so much better.
good.
It's
You're still doing a lot, but good.
Yeah. I think it's more so I can tell I'm right on the cusp of my body getting ready to give out. It's
Yeah.
not there yet, but these past however many weeks but I think it's almost a little less than 3 weeks. these shows are going to be apart, it's been way harder than before.
I don't think I've ever done shows that close back to back. I've done like 5 to 8-ish weeks in between.
I see. If it was that far apart, I don't think I can hold it together that long. Like I
get it. You've been prepping like all year too.
Basically.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. And it was the same thing. I was talking about this on my YouTube video I did yesterday when I was going for my pro card and I got 5th at nationals, and there was 2 weeks in between that where I needed to come in tighter. And those 2 weeks of pushing that extra bit to that next show were harder than the 2 weeks in preparation before the first one.
For sure.
It was like, oh, this is way worse.
And I feel like there's also more mental pressure for a second show.
Because I'm like,
I feel
feeling like if I don't do better, then what was the point of doing this?
Which is you're doing great, sweetie.
I
get it though.
Even if I don't do better, I'm like, I still know that I look better. So that's all that matters at this point.
If you want to book more photo shoots, we can take all the pictures. I feel like that's the fun part of prep.
I have one that I'm going to do this weekend in Houston with the guy who did the stage photos.
Okay. I'm so bad with names, but I know who you're talking about.
Yes. And then I wanted to do another one next week before I leave for Nevada.
How exciting. Are you saying that? I can cut it out if you need. This doesn't come out until
I know by
Monday.
This time it'll be.
It's not that far away. Let me know.
Yeah, I would have already said it.
Okay.
I mean, that's the thing is I said it on my YouTube video at the end of my show day video, and people are still like, "Oh, when is it?" And I'm like,
context clues, people.
I guess it's like some people are on Instagram and some people are on YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway,
that's prep.
Do you have any what the fuck is up at the gyms? I have 2, so I could carry us on this department if needed.
Nothing weird. More so just like tired during my training sessions.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, I was like wanting to cry the whole time, but I couldn't. Like my body physically couldn't. Like just out of exhaustion, but then also it was like hilarious because like I was walking around like
moping.
Like just so I was like telling the girls on my clients, I was like, it was like if anyone saw me, they would have thought I was insane because I would be walking around like this 1 second and then like giggling to myself the next because I was like, this is funny.
It's funny because the only reason I laugh is like I'm the crier between the two of us, so I get like that all the time just randomly.
Oh, okay.
Like,
when I get that way, I'm like,
experience. Yeah.
Something's wrong.
No, that's so funny.
Something's really
it's not
wrong.
Funny. I hope you're okay. And you can always call me if you're
not
okay.
It was more so like the best way that I can describe it is like, when a little kid they're so tired that they just cry and they can't speak yet, but they just like cry because they're tired. That's how I felt, but I couldn't physically cry.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I hope today is better. Do you have a rest day today?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Cardio's already done.
Good. Look at you. Crushing it.
And some posing.
My what the fuck is up at the gym? Like I said, I'm doing my old prep program. So I'm doing Stairmaster, which first off, we all know is a touchy subject for me. And I'm doing 90 minutes a day, split up 60 and 30. For my fasted one, it's been great so far. Like I'm half asleep during it, which is nice because I'm not used to doing cardio in the morning. And so my usual routine is like find a good like podcast or like a show that's like a comfort show. I put it on. I don't know how you respond to people, all the respect, but I cannot do not text me.
With my
if
hands.
I even get notifications, I'm like annoyed. Like for some reason that sets me like I want it to be my peaceful time. So I get on the Stairmaster yesterday morning, ready for my peaceful time, and all of them are taken. So I take like the only one available, which is the end cap, but it's next to one person. And look, I feel like we preface these things of like, do whatever you want in the gym. I whip out a camera sometimes. I do some weird stuff sometimes. I'm not here to judge. But it is 7 a.m. and this lady next to me is the most manic person I've ever seen at 7 a.m. And it was stressing me out so bad. Just like a little, I texted my brother.
In what way though?
She would respectfully, again, if this is what you do, all for you. Okay. I'm just so not this person on cardio that I was perplexed. She would be facing forward. She'd pick up her phone. She'd put it down, hands up, hands hip. She would turn around. Then she'd almost fall. She'd turn back around. She would start doing like little kicks, like just constantly changing. And it's in my peripheral. And I'm like, lady, you got to calm down.
Oh, like doing the Stairmaster in different
everything.
ways, like sidestepping, kicking
but
back.
not like, oh, I'm gonna sidestep for 30 seconds. It's like every 5 seconds she was moving, and it was just really stressing me out.
That would have stressed me out.
I was like, and she was on for an hour as well, so we were there for like.
She must have burned a lot of calories.
No, she looked amazing. That's why I'm like, it's working for her. So I don't want to like talk crap. But it was not my type of cardio.
Yeah, no, I like. I love the Stairmaster, but I'm never gonna be somebody that does the kicks and the side steps and the.
Yeah.
It's already.
I think what
enough.
stressed me out the most is she would like almost, I don't know how to explain this, ride it down like an escalator.
And you're like, please don't fall. Please
And then
don't
at the
fall.
bottom, she would like run up and then go back. It was just really stressful.
Maybe it's crazy because like these are two completely opposite ways of dealing with cardio.
Yeah.
And maybe hers is the only way that she can handle the hour is by constantly switching it up.
I'm sure.
And yours is...
I want to be mindless.
Don't talk to me. I think I would have struggled with having somebody constantly moving in my peripheral.
Yeah.
Peripheral, whatever it is. But yeah, I would have been like, I would have stared at her the whole time. It would have been hard for me not to be like, well, what is she doing next?
Well, like, I felt so mean in my head. I didn't say anything to this lady. In my head, though, like every time it would hit a 10-minute marker, I was like, please get off.
I know, please.
I was like, you're at 30 minutes. Accomplished. And then she kept going and I was like, okay.
She's on the other side going, this girl is so boring.
No,
with
probably.
her single step.
Yeah.
Not riding it like an escalator.
If it keeps you entertained and that's your tactic, you go for it.
I'm thinking of like on the movie Elf where he rides the escalator for the first time and he has like one foot out that's really, really far. I think
it's like your first time on a Stairmaster and you want to try
and
all
you
the
want to
things
do all
you
the different ways that you've seen on TikTok or something.
So fun.
No, that's chaotic as fuck.
Okay, I'm so glad you agree with me because I texted my brother and he didn't respond because he's been doing kind of this week with me. He's matching the cardio I do. So we've been like updating each other and he like had finished while I was still on the Stairmaster. He sent me a picture of like his 60 minutes and he's been rowing. Like the rowing machine for
his back
60
is gonna be jacked.
minutes. I'm like, you're insane.
No.
He was like, oh, I tried Stairmaster yesterday. Way easier. I was like, yeah, no wonder. You're rowing for an hour.
His back is going to be huge.
Yeah.
Like that's the amount of volume that you're getting in an hour.
Hundreds and hundreds of reps.
Never. No.
Anyway, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, I sent it to him and he didn't justify me. So thank you for also knowing that would be odd.
I probably would have gotten off. I'm not going to lie.
I almost said, I wouldn't have said
at this
something.
point in prep,
real,
the smallest things are bothering me.
Yeah, understand. I'm 3 days in.
Everything's bothering me at this point. I'm just perpetually irritated.
Dude, I get
and I'm
that.
trying my best not to be. I'm just hungry. You know,
I think you're doing great.
I'm just hungry. So, I wanted to read this one. It's a little longer.
Is so long.
No, this was a different one. Okay. There was one where people are starting to message us. What the fuck is up at the gyms?
Oh, I love that.
It's
Keep
so
those
awesome.
coming.
And I love it. So this one says, hi, lovely ladies. I've been re-listening to all your potty episodes. Potty. Duty. No. And as I always do when I feel like I need to pick me up, it truly does feel like we're hanging out with my besties. I have just finished training this morning and I saw a guy hanging out near the squat rack who made me think of you both. He had broccoli boy hair and I really thought, wow, this is still something people ask their barber for.
Like, hey, can I get the broccoli?
Yeah, do you think? Can I get the broccoli?
Probably.
He also had that pretty boy attitude, definitely the type of guy who gets a manicure weekly, slay, but you wouldn't trust him to throw you around in the bedroom. More of a classy dinner vibe guy. Anyway, broccoli hair was the main component of the story. It's still out there in full force, even in Australia. Also, what the fuck is up at the gym? This is a positive one today, not a traumatic or bad one. When did everyone get so attractive? Maybe I've been living in my prep bubble and now I'm on the other side, so I actually take notice of my surroundings and back to my chitty chat self. But I walked into the gym this morning, sun shining, and it was as if the whole gym had a glow up. All the girls were stunning and empowered, and it was so beautiful to see. Huge slay. And the gentleman,
I love this
I know,
woman.
I love slay. The gentleman this morning, God's gift to me on a freezing cold morning, may be attractive because of their face or hair or bright blue eyes, but I've been in the fitness industry for so long. I take notice of the work ethic and the muscle insertion. Yeah, where you're like, they have a nice glute ham tie-in.
For sure.
Rather than thinking, oh, shreddy, sexy, I think, oh, wow, those low insertions of your lats, you look like a Dorito. Very impressive muscle separation right there.
Very impressive.
Physique game is leveling up everywhere. And I'm just so happy to see so many people thriving. Anyway, I just want to let you both know and give you some positive gym vibes because I know you get a lot of gym horror stories. Lots of love, B. So
honestly,
cute.
I do appreciate the positivity because
Yeah.
usually we get this guy did this to me or I
Yeah.
did this embarrassing thing. It's nice to hear you just appreciating
Yeah, like
life.
when did everyone get so sexy?
But also the way, I don't know if it's how you read it or how she wrote it. Maybe I think it's how she wrote it because of all the details. I felt like that
I feel
was like
I
a
was there.
podcast
I felt-
episode.
I know. I felt like I was there. I love
I
that.
can fully picture it.
I just
Also,
thought
you're
we
in
should share it.
Australia where I feel like everyone's beautiful.
I
in
guess everyone
general.
has broccoli hair everywhere in the world.
Yeah, who knew it was
Unfortunately.
worldwide?
Boom.
I feel like I haven't seen a broccoli head member in a minute. It's like a cult or like a band.
Well, okay. So when I used to go to this gas station for, energy drinks, of course, and it was near a high school, and that's like, it was literally across the street from the high school, and it seemed like in the morning, lunchtime, after school, there would always be like broccoli headed boys that would come from like the high school, and it's just interesting because I'm like, remember when the Justin Bieber hair was like the thing?
Yeah.
And like now we're the whole
My brother would come
and
into
now
my
it's like
room.
the broccoli hair. Like which one's better? Which one do you think is the
I
better
think
of
the
two
broccoli
evils?
looks better
I
in
think-
my opinion.
I think so too. I think so too.
My brother would come into my room like every morning before high school and have me help him brush his hair into that side swoosh that Justin Bieber, I guess, trademarked. But yeah, good times. I feel like
It's
it
like the
slowly,
TikTok
it
boy
just
hair.
slowly got higher.
Yeah.
Like everything slowly
Yes.
lifted. Yeah, it is TikTok boy hair.
yeah,
Just
TikTok
even
has ruined
more.
everything.
Yeah.
But also it's great at the same time.
There's a pair of sweatpants I clicked on once just to see how much they would cost on TikTok shop. And now I'm not kidding. I can't go on TikTok. Every other video is these sweatpants.
They do have a lot of ads.
Like
now.
way too
Like, it's
many.
a
If you
lot.
click on one, it's over. I haven't been on in a minute.
No. Oh, also, I wanted to. Someone messaged about starting a new series, and they missed like our series ones. So either DM us on our podcast Instagram. Words are hard. What kind of series you guys want? Because we feel like we've done almost everything, so we need some inspo from you guys. So send us a little DM.
Or if
there.
you feel like we could do a better job on a series or certain topics we've already done, like
Yeah.
I feel like we could readdress certain topics we maybe filmed like year one and we were still
True.
figuring
honestly,
podcasting out.
yeah, don't go
So-
listen to those.
So no, literally sometimes I'll like reference an old like Gym Girl Basics one and I'll go and watch it back and I'm like, what is this? Respectfully, you're doing great, but I'm like so awkward and the lighting is always so bad.
Yeah.
That's my fault though.
Honestly, we were working out the technical difficulties.
I feel like we still are sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, like,
But yeah, no, I
whatever.
agree. The series are fun because then it also like gives us almost like research to do every week, which is fun. Sometimes.
yeah, great.
I enjoy it. I miss being in school sometimes.
Never. I do love a good outline, though. You guys
Yeah.
know I love a good outline.
I don't like outlines. I like researching.
And then also, for all of the girlies that are aspiring competitors, current competitors, I'm going to be hosting a posing clinic in Houston at Alpha Land.
oh, exciting.
It's the HTX Pose Down, and this time there's only 10 spots available.
When is it?
October 26th.
Okay.
Anyways, the link is going to be in the description of the YouTube video if you're listening there, and for all the audio platforms. So if you guys are interested, sign up for that because there's only 10 spots. Last time it was unlimited, but now because we had hundreds of girls. So
crazy.
it's limited now. So I just wanted to mention that.
Exciting.
But yeah.
I want to know about this next thing. Laura Lee commented on your photo.
I know.
What'd she say?
I think it was like, maybe it was like Slay or something.
I love that.
No, I don't think it was Slay. And at this point, I'm like, what photo was this?
She is like, other than obviously like the top 3 wellness
Honestly,
girls.
I don't know how this photo went. So it popped off so much.
And I took it. It was all me.
Like, I really don't know. Why don't my comments show up?
Mine sometimes don't either. So I get it.
I need to see it.
Anyway, she is one of the only people like truly going into the Olympia. Like I love watching her updates.
I do too.
She has a great podcast too.
Her
YouTube is so
Phoebe,
good.
right?
Yeah. 2 bikini pros.
Laura Lee's my favorite bikini pro. I don't know why.
Because of her glutes.
It could be obvious.
Her overall shape, and I think she is just like a gorgeous human
yeah.
being. I've never seen her in person, and I fear I might like not be able to talk to her if I did.
She's beautiful.
Yeah.
One time I went to the gym that she trains at, and I trained with her partner for like a YouTube video and stuff like that. And I met her in person.
Oh,
she's
okay, sick.
She's so sweet,
Yeah.
and so beautiful. And when she commented, I was like,
what an accomplishment. First Fran, now Laura Lee.
I know.
You're making your rounds.
I'm moving up in the world. Next is going to be Sebum.
Yeah. Manifest it.
Yeah. Okay, you're going to have to take the reins on the rest of these.
So the actual topic of today's video, since we did a bunch of rambling, is the biggest mistakes that we've made in our fitness journey. Yes. And the reason we're sharing these, it's one of those things where it's like, be better than us, learn from our mistakes. If
we're
these are
your
things,
gym girl sister.
Yeah. We messed up so you don't have to.
Yes, we did it so you don't have to.
Which is me almost always. And I feel like the list is also literally endless. I feel like even now, as someone who's been training for like over 10 years, I still sometimes go, why did I do that? Or why did I like spend a month wasting my time on this thing or
sometimes
whatever.
like even slip back into like old patterns of doing these things again. Like sometimes I'll find myself like doing some of the, like starting to do these things. And I'm like, wait, chill.
Yeah.
Okay, remember when you did that in the past, it didn't work. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
So the first thing, the first thing we have is not eating enough. And this is one where sometimes I accidentally slip back to. Like recently in the last month or so, my appetite has been so crappy. And even then, like I have that constant reminder because I've made this mistake in the past where I go, force it down. Like you got to keep your calories high enough to keep your metabolism going, because if you undereat, especially consistently, not even talking about like the neurological damage, the hormonal damage, like all of the long lasting effects,
the muscle loss.
Immediately, like just not having energy, not feeling good, ruining your metabolism so that even if you were to diet or like try to cut one day, you have like no wiggle room at all.
True.
So I've definitely done this one probably the most, and it's usually accidental, but now it's exactly one of those things I'm like, I know better. I don't care if I literally am so nauseous. I need to eat my protein. Like I gotta get it.
And what's crazy is because I have a lot of girls that come into the Know Your Power program, which is my like VIP coaching. And one of the most common things is that most women are not eating enough. And I know that was the case for me too. And for the first 4 weeks of the program, it's always like uncomfortable for my clients because I'm getting them to eat more food. And it's crazy because 99.9% of the girls are like, I never thought I was going to be able to eat this much food, still lose weight, still put on muscle, and have this much energy in the gym. Like it's crazy. We just got off a call with one of the girls that we were talking to, and she's eating way more calories than she was. And she's like, oh my God, like, you know, you get stuck in the mindset of like, eat small to be small, you know, and that's not the case. Like even when I first started training, I was significantly under eating, and Zach took me on as a coach because that's when I wanted to started to be a bodybuilder. And the first thing that he did within those first 4 weeks was increase my calories, like little by little. And I was losing weight. My body was recomping. I was putting on muscle. I was able to lift heavier, and I was like, oh, Oh my God.
What a concept.
It was crazy.
My mom's a really good example of this one. She's someone where like most of my life, she was just like slightly overweight and she has a tiny frame. So like she was the one voicing it. I never saw it. But she would only eat like one salad a day. Like that was her go-to. Or if she served us dinner, she would kind of pick, but never like sit down and eat like full whole meals. And when I became a certified trainer at like 17 years old, I sat her down and I was like, you're going to eat every 3 hours, whether you like it or
I'm
not.
still trying to get my mom to do that. Every time I see my mom, I'm like, have you eaten?
Exactly.
She's like,
yeah.
no.
And I mean, we've talked about like the times have changed too, where that was pushed so much in the past, where like the weird diet trends that like the sniff diet or whatever that we've talked about
The air
before.
diet.
Exactly. Anyway, she started eating. She finally was like, fine, I'll give it a go. She started eating every few hours and the weight just fell off of her body because she was training and she wasn't eating enough. She was inflamed from that.
Yes.
And her energy, I mean, she's always had energy, but her energy came so much higher when she started fueling her body.
Yeah. And it's crazy because it might feel like you're force feeding for a little bit and it's a little challenging. But what starts to happen is that your body gets used to it and your metabolism boosts and you actually start getting hungrier at your meal timing.
It's so nice
and
eating.
Now, like I went from like, oh my God, I can't eat this food. Like I remember when I first got with my first bodybuilding coach and she did the same thing. Like she like increased my calories more than what I was doing. And I remember being on MyFitnessPal and being like, I cannot hit these macros.
Yeah.
Now I can hit macros like in my sleep because I could just, I can eat so much. I can eat as much as Zach and he's 200 pounds. So I remember that feeling of not being able to like hit the macros. And then now my body just knows when it's time to eat. Like every 2.5 to 3 hours, my body's like, hey, feed me.
Yeah, you haven't fed me yet.
So it might feel hard right now, but trust me, it'll work out later. And
it's so worth it once your metabolism's in a good spot, because then if you do go to cut or you do need to increase, like it's so much easier than your appetite not being good
or at a higher number for sure.
Going off of that, really similar is another mistake we've both made is not taking my rest days. And similar, like both of these, sometimes you think the harder you work, the less you eat.
Or more is better.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you need to give your body rest so it can recover so that you can see the results you're doing. Because again, similar with the food or the overtraining, it's like if you're inflamed all the time, your body's not going to respond well to that.
It's crazy. And like, I love my coach so much because he actually cares about this. Oh, Jesus.
That was really loud.
Zach is like slamming the front door. He's going to a massage before me, but more isn't always better. So like there's points in prep where you just have to push and you just have to shut up and just do it. You know what I mean? But there's a difference between like pushing past perceived limits when you're just, being a baby about it and pushing where it can actually like for real do damage and have you go backwards.
Yeah.
So that's the way that my coach was describing it to me. He's like, we want to like really toe this line of like pushing your body to a limit, but also not pushing it to where it goes backwards, because that has happened to me before.
Yeah. Same.
Where my body goes in the opposite direction. It's inflamed. I can't even go and train. I can't lift as heavy as I would like to because I was doing too much.
Yeah.
So this last peak week of my show, we actually increased like calories right before and took like 3 days off of cardio.
Yeah.
And it was the best thing. Like I still lost weight. I didn't gain weight because in the past I would have been like, if I do this, I'm going to gain weight.
Yeah.
And that's just an example of rest can be so beneficial for you. And I know this is something that people hear a lot, but seriously, listen. God, you're probably listening to this and being like, but no, I mean, no, seriously. There was one off season where I took 3 rest days and the others were 1 upper body day and 3. Is that math?
Sure.
Hold on. 1 upper body day,
7 days,
3 rest, 3 leg days, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. When I took 3 rest days and I was like, really trying to grow my lower body. And I was training really hard and I was eating a really good amount of food.
Yeah.
And it was really hard to get myself to take 3 rest days because sometimes I could barely even take 2 and like figure out what to do with my life. That was one of the times where I had the most growth in my legs when I took those 3 rest days.
Yeah.
And I was able to show up to each session with like full energy, full output. And I was able to PR almost every time.
So much better. I was going to say exactly like you bringing up peak week. That is the perfect example of less is more, because every single athlete drops like the most weight in peak week. And it's mostly because you're finally resting. You're finally feeding your body. Like these are things our bodies want. Like they don't want to be in fight or flight mode. They don't want to be exhausted all the time. Like it's good to listen to that and listen to your body. I always take 2 rest days a week, sometimes more. Sometimes I do go into that 3 territory. If I really crush legs and I'm not recovered by next leg day, I'd rather push it back one more day and have more energy than have like a half-assed leg workout, you know?
I know, because then you're just going to like further inflame yourself to where when you do show up to that workout, it's like, okay, honestly, there's this. It would have just been better if I was actually just home, and chilling, and then maybe waited till Saturday and had an even better workout.
Yeah, I used to definitely get guilty around that, or feeling like I wasn't good doing enough, or that I was gonna like lose all my gains. And it's like, unless you're taking months off, you're fine.
Yes, like
rest
literally
days are fine.
I think growing in the gym and like maturing is realizing how important rest days are.
Yeah.
Now I look forward to them.
Same.
Like today's my rest day. I don't have to train. I'm so happy.
I'm sure, especially
I still am
right
like,
now.
what do I do with my life? Because this is like part of my routine, but my body is like, thank you.
Yes. Anyway, one of the other mistakes I've definitely made is going from 0 to 100, like mentality wise, or doing too much too soon. And this is my biggest piece of advice, is like every time I get any sort of like little Q&A box or DM or message, whatever, about, hey, do you have advice for losing weight? Do you have advice for eating cleaner? Do you have advice for this and that? And always my like first line is start small. Like starting small is so important, not only for like actually seeing results, but building up that like rapport with yourself.
100%.
Because the more goals you succeed at, the more likely you're gonna keep going. If you set the biggest goal in the world and you're setting yourself up to fail or to come short of it, you're just gonna beat yourself up and then fully give up.
Especially when you're not even there yet.
Yeah.
So like if you right now are struggling to wake up in the morning at all, if you're not really going to the gym, if you're, going out to eat, you're drinking a lot right now, and you try within the first week to be like a bodybuilder or something like that, where like you're waking up at 5 a.m. to do fasted cardio, you're going to the gym like 6 times a week. You're what else did I say? Like you're eating chicken, broccoli, and rice.
Yeah.
Like you're not at that point yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's good to have those.
And you don't have to be. That's the thing, is we expect ourselves to go from 0 to 100 to, I'm not doing any of those things, that I need to be perfect at all of these things.
Yeah.
And I did that so many times. And of course I was going to feel like a failure, because that was unrealistic to begin with. Me now, years later, I can do all those things, but you catch me back when I started, I would never, ever. I didn't even know what a Stairmaster was.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is like, it's okay to have those goals as like long-term goals. It's not okay to expect your entire everything to change overnight. So
we expect ourselves to be there now, we're at A and we want to be at Z, and we get mad when we're not at Z now.
Yeah.
That's just dumb.
I wanted to improve my cardio this year. I literally started in January walking on the treadmill for like 15 minutes. And like now I'm at a point where I'm doing a ton of Stairmaster right now, but I feel fine because I've spent the last 7 months, 9 months, slowly increasing my cardiovascular health, you know? If I jumped right to Stairmaster in January,
an hour and
dead.
a half, no.
Completely dead, crying.
I mean, even with my prep, I started at 25 minutes.
Exactly.
Like I started at 25 minutes, and that 25 minutes was challenging. And now I can go for like my hour and a half to an hour and 45 and be like, okay, like it doesn't affect me. But that's because it was built over time. So start small. Don't lay in your bed on a Sunday night and being like, tomorrow I'm changing every little thing about me and I'm going to be 100% perfect. I'm not going to order anything. I'm not going to have a drink. I'm not going to have a nibble. Start small.
Yeah.
I'm going to drink this entire thing of water that I have. I'm going to go to the gym 4 times this week. Like, build that rapport with yourself.
Yeah.
And that's how your confidence grows, and you have the ability to take on more and to take on more and to take on more. And then eventually you will be doing like that bodybuilder thing if that's what you want to do.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes you realize you're doing all of these habits. Like it almost does feel sudden. Like it feels like you just woke up and have it, but you have to slowly work at each. The next one is over restricting during the week and then binging on the weekends, which I have definitely been there. And I actually, on my solo episode, got a message that was similar, where it was kind of like, I'm negotiating with myself, but I also don't want to be too hard on myself. And this is like a fine line to walk.
That's a hard thing to recognize. Like, am I not giving myself grace, or am I giving myself
too much
grace to where you're like not doing anything with your life, you know?
Agreed.
That's a hard thing to figure out.
I think this goes back to literally all the other points we've made so far, is like starting small with those goals of stopping this pattern, and also feeding your body enough during the week where you're not having those tendencies, and also taking rest so you're not exhausted and feeling like you're seeking comfort in food. Like all of these kind of tie together, where if you make one mistake, odds are it bleeds into others. So similar with the goal setting of like, don't try to just fix yourself overnight. If this is a habit you've been doing for months, if not years, just try your best now to have, okay, if I follow a meal plan Monday through Friday, Saturday, first half of the day, I'm following that meal plan. Maybe Saturday night, a planned refeed, a planned cheat meal, Sunday, back on plan.
Yes.
Like just having these like planned, thought out processes instead of like restricting yourself so much Monday through Friday where you're like throwing caution to the wind on Saturday, eating whatever you want, not tracking. And then that guilt hits Monday morning.
And then you've canceled out all of the quote unquote work that you have done to where you've eaten so many calories to where it's like, okay, you're not really in a deficit at all anymore.
Yeah.
And I love what you said about the small increments, because say you are, you know, on track, maybe following your macros, whatever it might be, Monday through Thursday, and then Friday you start to get a little lax, Saturday and Sunday it's more lax. Maybe you're just throwing caution to the wind Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's 3 days that you're quote unquote off track. Let's go down to 2 days.
Yeah.
Let's try and make it Monday through Friday. Then eventually you can do Monday through Saturday. And then Sunday, it's like you have one of your going outs. So whenever I go into my off season, that's how I'm going to run things, to where Zach and I are going to have like a planned date night on a Saturday night, and then like a breakfast Sunday morning or something like that, where I'm not tracking it. I'm not worried about it. I'm not going to go check the scale. I'm not going to feel guilt or shame about it. And that's how I'm going to do things. And for me, like being regimented in that way works for me. It's like regimented, but not at the same time.
I mean, it's just being planned. And I do the same thing where right now, every Saturday I'll have a cheat meal. And sometimes that's like a little roll of sushi, and sometimes it's a whole pizza. And it's just depending on how I feel. But that makes it easier when my boyfriend does come to me on like a Thursday and is like, I really want to order from this one place. I'm like, yeah, let's do that Saturday. Yeah. Like, let's just
And it's honestly like fun. And it's also like something that you can connect with your partner. I mean, even this morning, Zach, since we moved to a new area, he right now is playing like food guy
Finding,
where
yeah.
he's like finding the things. He comes home and he goes, try this coffee. And so I took a little sip of his coffee, and then he shows me his little tacos. He goes, I found the perfect spot for our Sunday mornings. Cause what we used to do Sunday mornings when I'm in off season is we would do Summer Moon and we would do tacos. And that's what we would do before we went to the farmer's market. And he's like, this is our new spot for that. He's like, and he goes, and they also have a pancake place too, and a food truck. So he's like, we could do tacos and tacos, pancakes, and coffee, or we could do tacos and and he's like testing it out.
Combinations.
And it's just like, it's exciting and it's something that you can look forward to. But the way to also stop being so strict on certain days and then completely falling off the wagon is not over restricting on the calories during the week. I know that when I was struggling with binge eating tendencies, that I would purposely do that. I would purposely undereat Monday through Thursday because I knew that I was like almost planning that I was going to binge Friday through Sunday.
Mine was similar, but like morning to night almost. It was like a day rotation.
I would do that too,
where I would like fast. I would eat like really, really clean, really low calories because I knew when nighttime came, like that was typically when I would binge. So it was about breaking that cycle or just like having a little more food or flexibility earlier in my day so that I didn't get to that point.
Yes, because doing that, like you're mathing it in your head. You're like, okay, this is going to work. You know, this is the right thing to do. But doing that actually makes it more likely that you are going to binge. So
just feed your body.
Don't do that. Don't do that. And also like with the fun foods, like find ways to implement those into your life during the week. So for example, I love having something sweet and I love having something savory for my breakfast.
Yeah.
So I plan for that within my macros. So I'll do a giant load of eggs, maybe like 2 whole eggs, a bunch of egg whites, saute it with like green onions and peppers, avocado, got my savory thing. I like to have something sweet as well. So I'll have like the Dave's Killer Bagel with either PB2, which is the powdered peanut butter, depending on my macros, or just regular ass peanut butter. Or I'll swap that for like a protein oat so that I have both of those things instead of saying, no, I'm not going to have any, and I also have berries on top of that. So instead of saying, no, I'm not going to have anything that's sweet and restricting that, I am having it at the beginning of my day. And I know you said that for you, sometimes that triggers you to want to have more sweets.
Not anymore. I love sweet in the morning now.
But for me, like that helps me throughout the day not come to the end of the day and feel like, oh my God, I need sugar, because there's nothing wrong with having sugar. Implement it into your routine.
Use it too.
During the week.
Use it for your workout.
Oh, for sure.
Pre or post workout, like having a little sugar spike can be really good for insulin levels and for muscle gain and all the things.
The last tip on this that I would say is that I teach the girls in my program is to keep a routine throughout the entire week. I think what I've noticed in my personal life is that one of the reasons why I would fall off so much during the weekends is because my routine was completely off. Monday through Friday, I wake up, I do my journaling, my meditation, my goal setting, cardio, I'm working. That's my routine Monday through Friday. And I'm training and all those things. Saturday and Sunday would come around. Maybe I didn't have cardio. Maybe I woke up later, and my routine was way off, and you're more likely to just do whatever you want when you don't have a routine.
Yeah.
So what I decided was, okay, it's not realistic for me to have that strict of a routine during the weekend. It's just not. So I made a modified routine for the weekend where it was like, okay, I wake up later, I still do my journaling and my goal setting, and that's the first thing that's at the forefront of my mind as I'm going out through my day. And it's just more chillax. Maybe then I have my treat meal, stuff like that, but I still have a certain routine. It's just modified during the weekend, and that helps me stay on track.
Well, we're almost like, habitual animals in that sense, where
Yes.
like if you do the same thing every day, I feel like it's easier to stay on track versus if you do drastically switch it up. Where I'm the same way. Sometimes a Sunday I don't work and I don't work out. So I'm like, might as well lay in bed all day. But
Yeah.
then when I get up, now my body's like, what's going on? Usually we're up 5 hours
Exactly.
before right now. So it throws you off. So yeah, I completely agree. Having a morning routine is so important. And I think we have an old podcast. That's one of the things we could refilm on, like creating a perfect morning routine. So I recommend listening to that one if you have like no clue where to start.
Yes.
That's a good
And it's going to
one.
be personal to everybody. So.
Yeah. The next one is switching up my diet and training routine too quickly, which we talked about, I think, in last week's podcast, because a girl had written in like,
Yes.
hey, I've been dieting or cutting for a month. Do I body recomp? Do I do
Yeah.
this? Do I do that? And our first piece of advice was like, stick with it longer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, see truly how your body responds to a plan before just like going, okay, next.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, oh, what other fad or trend or whatever can I try now? It's like, stick with a program. I've been doing, of course, I change like rep ranges or where the intensity lies, but I've been doing the same leg exercises for years. Like, rarely am I like, let's try this new one. It's like, no, the basics work, compounds work. I like keeping my program. I know what I'm doing. There's no surprises. There's no switching it up. That way, if something changes, I know all of my variables where I can go, oh, it was definitely that. You know?
True.
If
And
you're
it's like,
changing it all the
there's
time.
so many different ways you can do one exercise. You can do a hip thrust on a machine.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it on a barbell. You can do it with the easy bars. You can do it with dumbbells. Like, there's so many different ways that you can switch it up, but also it's the same at the same time.
You're
You know
working
what I
the
mean?
same exact muscle.
I used to do that a lot with my training program, where I would get like, I'd be like squirrel, and I'd see all these other, wellness competitors or influencers doing a certain workout and think that I needed to change everything about what I was doing and do what they were doing. And what I realized was like, okay, me following my workout program for minimum 4 to 6 weeks before training it is key, so that I can not only learn the routine, learn how to do it properly, then build off of that and start getting strength.
Yeah, start progressing. You can't progress if you're doing a plan
Yes.
for a week.
How do you know how do you know how well that you're doing on a hip thrust if you keep changing it every single week?
Exactly.
So 4 to 6 weeks, keep your workout program.
Same thing
Trust
with
me.
like meal programming too, where especially as someone who's like, I'm sensitive to such random foods, I eat this essentially the same things, maybe besides like a Saturday cheat meal. I eat the same foods every day. So exactly of like pinpointing variables.
True.
If I eat the same thing every week and I introduce eggs and I don't feel good the next
know it's
day,
eggs.
I know it's the eggs. If you're changing your diet plan and you're trying vegan, you're trying keto, you're trying all these things like every other week or like even every other month, it's not enough time to know what's actually working for your body and how you actually feel on that program.
Very
so
true.
give things time.
I definitely have done that too.
Me too.
The next one is not tracking your progress in the gym with
one's
your
important.
physique and the gym.
Yeah.
I think whichever variable that you feel comfortable with tracking. I know a lot of people, me included, sometimes get very triggered by the scale. One thing that I do is I hide the scale and I only bring it out when I have to check in with my coach,
Yeah.
especially since I'm on prep for a show.
Mine's in like the guest bathroom
Yeah.
because if
I
it's in
hide
my
it under
bathroom,
my
I weigh myself
thing.
too much.
Oh yeah, then you'll just see it, and we're humans. If we see it, we're like, ooh, I got to do it.
Yeah.
So if it's the scale, then do that. Measurements,
I
photos,
love measurements.
DEXA scan, especially when you're putting on muscle mass, it can be really hard to have that like instant gratification that you get with cutting. So doing a DEXA scan to see how much muscle mass you're putting
I've
on
actually
is really
never
helpful.
had a scan done.
You should.
I feel like, because for me in my head that would be triggering, but now I think I'm at a point with myself where I'm like,
It'd be cool to see.
it's just,
It'd be cool to
it's just
know.
numbers.
Yeah. So tracking, however you want to track your physique progress and do that, keep notes. I keep a little folder in my photos of, my check-in photos with my coach, what
Same,
the scale
yeah.
read that week, all my DEXA scans. It's really cool to look back on it. And then secondly, tracking the progress in the gym. Like, even if it doesn't seem like it's very much, going from 10-pound lateral raises to 12-pound, that's huge. That's
Yeah.
a really big deal. So tracking those weights, whether you're writing it in a journal, maybe you have an app, like our girls in my program are on our training app, so they can just track it and it'll say like, you lifted a whale today, you know, and it'll like add it all up and it's really cool. So
that's my biggest thing for my clients, especially I've noticed my male clients really beat themselves up if they have to like go down in a weight.
Yeah.
So like, just as an example, I have a client who was like doing lateral raises with 20s, right? And we had to go down to 15s because he was fatiguing, as one does with
Yes.
lateral raises. And he like started kind of getting in his head about it. And I was like, dude, you started with the 8s. Like the fact
and
that
now
you can
you're
do the
used
20s.
to doing 20s, so now
Exactly.
15s is sad.
But like since he's not the one writing it, I'm the one keeping track of all
True.
his weights. Like sometimes that reminder of like, whoa, I have made a lot of progress,
That's
and maybe
awesome.
I'm not digressing by going down today because overall I've increased my strength so much. So
Very
yeah,
true.
those are also fun when you're not in a cutting phase and you need another like goal to look forward to. I love strength goals.
I can't wait to do that again, because right now I'm like,
Just doing what
right
you
now
can.
it's just physique goals.
get
Strength's
it.
out the window.
Yep.
Strength is out the window.
Honestly, same recently. So I actually deadlifted last week, 2 weeks ago. And I
Never.
was like, first off, way
I
weaker
haven't
than I
deadlifted in
was.
so long.
But now I'm excited to like track my
Maybe a
progress with
sumo
it.
deadlift. I'll do a sumo.
That's what I did. Yeah.
Sumo.
No way I'm doing conventional.
No.
We can do a few more. I don't want this podcast being like 3 hours
Two more.
long.
Let's do 2 more.
Okay, wait. Let
Two
me
more
think
the
of 2
biggest
good ones.
mistakes.
Ooh, this one, comparing my fitness journey to others on social media.
don't
Your
do
girl
it.
has absolutely been there. And that's one of those where we say we sometimes fall back into them.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I'm looking a girl up a little too much.
Yeah, and I'm like, what's she doing with her life?
Miss Kelly Matthews has the best glutes I've ever
Yeah,
seen. And
she really
sometimes
does.
on my glute days, I be searching what she's doing. And I'm like,
She's
first
awesome.
off, very different physiques. We are not the same person. We train very differently. She does a lot of powerlifting. It's just so easy to be like, I don't look like that. I'm not as strong as her. I'm not any of these things. And it's like, no, you're just different people. And also
Yes.
a reminder coming from 2 social media girls, it's glamorized. It's all our best lifts or our best
100%.
poses. Like we're not going to share the times we fail at a weight. Sometimes we do. We're not going to share the weak moments we have, especially on like an Instagram where it is just such short form. It is not the place to compare yourself to anyone's
Yes.
physique, mentality, lifestyle, anything.
And that girl that you're comparing yourself to is probably doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Whether it's to you, to somebody else, it's so common and it's easy to get caught up in like, I want to be there, you know, but I'm over here, you know, and you never know how long that they've been training. You don't know what they're going through either.
Yeah.
And I used to do that too, where I would find like a bunch of influencers be like, oh my God, I'm never gonna look like that. Like I'm never gonna get there. Or like, why don't I have X? Why don't I have Y?
Yeah.
You know, and you, like you said, your physiques are so different. So just recognizing that and knowing that it's going to take time, it's going to take patience, and you never really truly know who that person is behind the screen.
Yeah.
And you know what they might be dealing with, and use it as inspiration instead of a
Exactly.
way to like make you feel bad about yourself.
Because like sometimes I'll look at other girls' workout routines and stuff, or their like morning routines.
Yeah, and I'm like,
it
I need
can
some inspo.
Yeah, it can be inspiration without tearing yourself down about it. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
that's when things get really negative, when you start going, oh, I don't have that car, I don't have that house, I
Mm-hmm.
don't have those glutes. Like those little things add up, and you should definitely not put yourself in their shoes. Just kind of use them to guide you.
Because everybody has their own like incredible thing like about them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we follow a lot of other, you know, fitness influencers on social media, and I can name like a specific thing about each one
Same.
of them that I super admire. Like Kelly Matthews, her butt is the best. You know what I mean? You know, Rue, I admire her strength. Like she's so
Also,
strong.
her makeup, gorgeous.
And her makeup slays every time. Like each girl that I follow, like there's a specific thing
Yeah.
that's not their only thing that they have, but
course.
that they just like shine at.
And
like
that's
that,
your inspiration you're
like
taking
that's their
from each of
thing,
them.
you know? And you have a thing that's just like that. You're just not recognizing it right now.
Yeah.
So don't forget
quit comparing yourself. I wish I could go back and tell like teenage Kendall that, because
Yeah.
even like not fitness related, just influencers
Oh,
in
in
general,
general.
like so easy to fall into that hole
yeah.
of like, oh, poor me, my life is never going to be like that. And it's like,
their life isn't
if you
even
took
like
away
that.
the time you're taking comparing,
Yes.
you could work on it.
It's true. And it is so easy to get caught up in the world of social media where you're so immersed with what everybody else is doing with your life that it almost debilitates you from doing anything with yours. And we don't want that.
Yeah, no.
We want you to work towards your goals. And if you're right now waking up and checking social media first thing, stop that.
Yes.
Stop it.
Bad
Just stop.
habit. Instagram has a new thing where you can set your daily limit and it kind of like closes you out of the app. So I set mine like, I think 45 minutes is like my daily limit. And even this morning, granted I was posting and I don't think it knew that, but it was like, you're at your limit. I was like, okay, guess I'm done for the day.
I'm not posting anymore. Okay.
You can like go in and change it, but it like the options are add 5 more minutes, like 10 more minutes. It's not
wow.
like, so it'll keep alerting you, which I think is good.
That is really
I feel like
cool.
that's moving in a good direction.
I know. You just have to actually listen to it if you said it.
True. So far, I've snoozed both times it's told me. The last one we're going to go over is thinking that if I just changed my body, that I would love myself.
Oh, yeah.
This one hits home, again, unfortunately, to teenage Kendall, and sometimes still comes up, those thoughts. I feel like loving yourself is so internal. And so in accepting yourself and loving yourself now instead of loving yourself when you hit that goal or when you lose this amount of weight, like when
Putting,
you tie
like,
it,
loving yourself, that you can only do it when you're at X, Y, or Z. Like putting, what's the word? Like not a restriction.
I know what you mean. I don't know what word you're looking
Putting
for.
expectations, there's a word, someone else is saying it right now while they're listening. Conditions.
Okay. Is that the word?
You're putting conditions on loving yourself and waiting to love yourself until you're at a certain point.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this a lot. We've been at the heaviest that we've been, didn't love our body. We've been at the lightest and the leanest, still didn't love our body.
Yep.
And it didn't matter because at the end of the day, we needed to love ourselves as we were. Period.
Mic drop. I feel like that one, like, again, with learning from our mistakes, it took me from hating myself at my heaviest and hating myself at my leanest to go, these aren't related.
This doesn't matter.
It
how
doesn't
my body
work how I
looks
thought.
actually doesn't fix the problem. The
At
root
all.
problem is how I feel about myself.
And then I have a piece of
Without the
advice
body.
to my girls listening that are like very self-deprecating, very low self-esteem, because I was that and still every day working on not being that. But I was that for so long where I made it my whole identity. Start small, just like all the other things on this list. It's starting small where I found what worked for me. I couldn't do the positive affirmations. I felt like such like a fraud when doing those, or I couldn't write or say compliments about myself. If someone complimented me, I wouldn't say thank you. I would try to compliment them back, like little things like that. It's just starting small with like, one of my favorite things and ways I got to love myself was finding things about my character and my personality, because that is so unrelated to the way I look and the way I externally
and
feel.
is honestly the true essence of why people are attracted to you anyways. Like, I wasn't attracted to you as a friend because I mean, obviously you have a
Why
nice
not?
body, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, she's pretty. I want to be her friend. Her body's amazing. I want to be her friend. It was like, no, we got along.
Yeah.
And it was like your actual personality that made me want to be friends with you.
Yeah. And things I used to view as weaknesses, I learned are my strength. Like the fact that I am an emotional person, or the fact that I like am empathetic, like all these little things I just started writing down and saying to myself, that's why I love myself. I love myself because I'm in touch with my emotions. I love myself because I'm a loving person and I'm there for my friends and my family. Like just finding other places of value that actually align with who you are as a person,
And that
other
don't
than
have to do with your
my
body.
glutes aren't big enough, so I don't love myself.
small enough. My quads are too tiny.
Yeah. And then it's so much easier to love your external self once you learn to love that like internal self.
Yes, and all your different shapes and sizes that you are going to be in your lifetime.
Yeah. It's really crazy how differently I view it now, because when I used to like bulk or cut or just like be somewhere in the abyss in between, I was always so critical on every end. And now it's like you start to appreciate what your body's doing. And you're like, whoa, I'm putting on body fat right there because I'm also putting on muscle right here. And like just finding the good in all of it instead of focusing so much on, I won't love myself until I see that line again.
Yes.
It's like, that's such a sad,
it's a never ending cycle.
live.
And it's like, even when you think that way, I've felt this way as well, where you get there and it's, you've reached that goal. You've gotten, and it's still not enough.
Yep.
It's not
Then it's
enough.
like, what's
And you're
next?
just going to be a hamster running on a wheel.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
You should love yourself. I know it's easier said than done sometimes.
Yeah, this is
but
it's an ongoing process. You know, this kind of work isn't just something that happens overnight. It's ongoing, and you do it for the rest of your life, and that's the beauty in it, I guess. You know, it doesn't sound like it, but it really is. It's just ongoing, and it gets easier.
It's like any other relationship, though.
100%. The relationship.
You're forced into this one.
Yeah, like me and Zach we didn't just click and then that was it. You know, we have to constantly work on our relationship together every single day and get better and better. Same thing goes with yourself. Like you change, and you have to get closer with yourself.
Yeah.
Learn yourself as you change and grow. And hopefully comment down below if you're on YouTube, or DM us some of your biggest, fitness mistakes that you feel like you made. We could definitely do a part 2. Yeah, and let us know if this helped. But we love you guys, and thank you for listening. I don't remember how to outro. We love you all so much, and you're more powerful than you think. Bye. Nailed it.
Even I knew it.